Hello and welcome to Finish in 5 on A Christmas Carol. Now this is the fourth video in a series of 5. And each video is covering a particular moment from the text, a key moment, and a key extract as part of that. The idea is, of course, that by viewing all 5 of them, you are essentially covering the entire narrative of the text, along with key characters, some key quotations, some key themes, and a bit of analysis as well. So, in terms of what's happened in the lead up to this extract, well, at the point the extract's taken from, we've already been through stave 1. That's with Scrooge's introduction and the visit from Marley's ghost. We've been through stave 2 with the visions of Scrooge's childhood, visions of his apprenticeship. We've seen Belle. We've then seen stave 3 with a range of Christmas celebrations in a whole range of locations, and that included, don't forget, the Cratchit household and Fred's house. Scrooge, still in stave 3, was then confronted by the ghost's presentation of ignorance and want. Now, in stave 4, which is the future, Scrooge has been presented with the final ghost. It's silent, it is shrouded in black. Scrooge, however, is open to its message. He's shown a range of scenes linked to death. He sees businessmen who don't seem to care about someone who's died. We see some working class people selling off items that they've stolen from the dead man. We see the body itself. We see a young couple delighted that the person is dead. The spirit then shows Scrooge the Cratchits mourning the death of Tiny Tim, and then, finally, escorts Scrooge to the graveyard. Now, in terms of what happens in this extract, what we see is Scrooge being shown a grave, but being scared to view it. Now, Scrooge in the extract is keen to pin down whether the future he's been shown is a fixed point or something that can still be changed. He also realises that he himself was the dead man. He promises to change, to live a better life, to learn the lessons from what he has been shown. Extract 4, stave 4. The spirit stood among the graves and pointed down to one. He advanced towards it, trembling. The phantom was exactly as it had been, but he dreaded that he saw new meaning in its solemn shape. "Before I draw nearer to that stone to which you point," said Scrooge, "answer me one question. Are these the shadows of the things that will be, or are they shadows of things that may be only?" Still the ghost pointed downward to the grave by which it stood. "Men's courses will foreshadow certain ends to which if persevered in they must lead," said Scrooge. But if the courses are departed from, the ends will change. Say it is thus with what you show me." The spirit was immovable as ever. Scrooge crept towards it, trembling as he went, and following the finger, read upon the stone of the neglected grave his own name, Ebenezer Scrooge. "Am I that man that lay upon the bed?" he cried upon his knees. The finger pointed from the grave to him and back again. "No, spirit! Oh, no, no!" The finger still was there. "Spirit!" he cried, tight clutching at its robe. "Hear me! I'm not the man I was. I'll not be the man I must have been but for this intercourse. Why show me this, if I'm past all hope?" For the first time, the hand appeared to shake. "Good spirit," he pursued, as down upon the ground he fell before it. "Your nature intercedes for me and pities me. Assure me that I may yet change these shadows you've shown me by an altered life." The kind hand trembled. "I will honour Christmas in me heart and try to keep it all the year. I will live in the past, the present, and the future. The spirits of all three shall strive within me. I will not shut out the lessons that they teach. Oh, tell me that I may sponge away the writing on this stone." Right, in terms of dissecting the extract. Now, the spirit here is completely silent, and that's logical for a number of reasons. For one thing, Dickens wants the future to appear scary. The Ghost of Christmas Past was playful, sympathetic. The Ghost of Christmas Present was full of life and full of moral awareness. The Ghost of Christmas Yet to Come is implacable, faceless, anonymous, dark. The silence, in a sense, of the grave. Now, it's unclear the extent to which Scrooge already has some sense of whose grave this is, although it's strongly implied by his reluctance to go closer. Scrooge's key question, though, is whether the visions he's seeing are things that will be or things that may be, whether it's possible for the future to be changed, if the courses be departed from, whether the ends will change. It's that old question about fate and free will, and that is perhaps another reason why the spirit remains silent and still. It's not up to the spirits to decide for Scrooge. He has to choose for himself and to act accordingly. Ultimately, of course, everyone ends up in the grave, and that's perhaps why the spirit keeps pointing at the grave. What's important is what we do before we get there, which was, of course, Marley's point back in stave 1. It's noticeable that the immovable, implacable spirit begins to shake, to tremble, when Scrooge insists that he's not the man he had been, and that he will not be the man he would have been, hoping to change these shadows you've shown me. Scrooge kneels before the spirit, and it's an image, again, of supplication, of surrender to a higher power, just as he started to back in stave 1 with Marley. And what is, of course, the ultimate symbol of Scrooge's redemption? His view of Christmas. Don't forget that, in theory, Christmas as a Christian festival is about the birth of someone who intercedes on behalf of the sinful, someone whose purpose was to redeem sinners. And that's why the spirit of Christmas will, for Scrooge, be something he will keep all the year. Perhaps most significantly, Scrooge promises to live in the past, the present, and the future. And that's a clear reference to the visits of the three spirits in staves 2, the past, 3, the present, and 4, the future. Scrooge has gained something from all three. He's understood how he became the man he was, stave 2. He's seen the world around him that he's ignored and the impact that he has, stave 3. And he's also seen how the world will be if he doesn't change, that's stave 4. It's also worth flagging up the reference to lessons and teach. Scrooge's childhood was the root of the life he's led, and this has been an opportunity for him to start again, to return to childhood and to learn the lessons that he should have. That's why he becomes as merry as a schoolboy in stave 5. However, it's also important that he will live in all three, engaging actively, taking part in life, living. Now, in terms of what happens next, now immediately after this extract, Scrooge kneels and essentially prays, at which point the final spirit disappears. When Scrooge wakes up, he affirms his commitment to changing. He's exuberant, he's happy. He realises that it's Christmas Day and the cloud and the fog have cleared. He sends a turkey, anonymously, to the Cratchits. He donates generously to the charity collector that he rejected back in stave 1, and he joins Fred and Fred's family and friends for dinner. And then on Boxing Day, he waits in the office for the arrival of Bob. Okay, just a few little reminders. Don't forget, you've got the recipe books, in which there is an embarrassment of riches about things to help you revise in terms of quotation banks, perfect pairings of quotations, protagonist profiles, and writing frames, and all sorts of goodies. You've got your quotation cards, which are the same quotations as in your Need to Know books, which are also an excellent resource. On our YouTube channel, that's Net English 1, there are hundreds of different videos, including a range covering the majority of things about A Christmas Carol, from narrative summaries and recaps to character profiles. There's also, of course, on our Net English Twitter feed, a quotation of the day, and it's worth subscribing to that if you haven't already. And that's the end of this fourth video from Finishing 5 for A Christmas Carol. Hopefully I'll see you in extract 5 in our next video, which is the last one, and we'll round off the whole text.